And there's more. Continuing on from the last post with yet more local talent. Jan Carson's new novel, Few and Far Between, is well worth picking up. Taking inspiration from a politician's madcap idea from the 1950s, Jan takes us to an alternative Northern Ireland where Lough Neagh has partially been drained to reveal an archipelago of little islands which become a refuge to a motley collection of people during the Troubles. Creating a society with no politics or religion, headed up by a well-known anthropologist, proves an interesting social experiment, and the novel follows the remnants of the families left on the islands many years later when the blue-green algae problem is prompting a brief flooding of Lough Neagh and an end to the so-called Ark. The story had me heading to research this for myself as I wondered what was true and what was not. I found it fascinating and a great premise for a story. The mix of recognisable, nostalgic scenes along with the unmistakable County Antrim vernacular of the locals make this a particularly relatable story. Andrew Cunning's debut, Clara and Christina, is based around the university area of Queen's in Belfast, with Clara, a postgrad who's been granted a regular author audience with an acclaimed but reclusive author, Christina. Christina is reaching the end of her career but has come to live in Belfast to write her final novel. Clara is writing her thesis on Christina's novels, and this Sunday morning meeting is a dream come true for her. A tentative friendship builds up over the encounters, with exploration into academic thought on what fiction actually is and what it offers to its readers. The novel teeters on the edge of being perhaps too thought-provoking, but the engaging characterisation of Clara and Christina capture the reader, and the pull to read on to find out what happens makes this a very satisfying read. Andrew Cunning's own background in university life and teaching are evident in the setting of the novel, and the feel of modern Belfast and Northern Ireland adds to the reading experience. Another one to be added to the TBR lists. And finally, ever thought about abandoning normal life for a year and heading off across Europe? Well, that's exactly what author Susan Bennett and her husband did after a shock diagnosis tipped them over the edge. They jumped in their camper van, who they christened Hans, and took off after learning in the same week that they both have MS. Susan took a few notes about their progress every day, never intending to write about their very personal experiences. But now, finally, after 8 years, the book has been written and published. 1 Year by Susan Bennett is not just a travel memoir. It's a thoughtful account of their journey across 17 countries, chronicling the awe-inspiring natural world we live in and an appreciation of different cultures, as well as being an account of the everyday challenges of such a long trip. This is a story to be savoured, not rushed, but be warned, you'll want to pack your bags and follow in their footsteps. 3 very different stories, but it just goes to show the brilliant local talent that we have here in Northern Ireland, and these 3 are just some of the new books released this year. So read and enjoy and then spread the word.